The Quiet Between Stars. The sci-fi horror short story. Dr. Era Smith had always imagined that silence in space would feel clean, pure, a kind of monastic stillness where the mind could finally unclench. But on Erebus Station, silence had weight. It pressed against the walls, seeped into the ventilation shafts, and pooled in the corners of the long, dim corridors like something alive. She had been aboard for 43 days. Long enough for the station's hum to become a second heartbeat. Long enough for the crew's routines to settle into predictable loops. Long enough for the isolation to begin whispering. The first whisper came on day 29. A faint voice in the calm static. Her name spoken like an exhale. She told no one. Not yet. The station that shouldn't creak. Erebus Station orbited Kepler-62f, a dark, oceanic world whose surface was hidden beneath permanent storm cover. The station was old, older than the funding reports admitted, and its architecture reflected a bygone era of space engineering. Narrow corridors, exposed piping, and bulkheads that groaned when the temperature shifted. Shouldn't creak, Era thought. Not in vacuum, not like a ship settling in deep water. But it did. The crew of 6 had grown accustomed to the noises. Commander Rourke dismissed them as thermal expansion. Engineer Sato blamed aging alloys. Biologist Kessler claimed the station was just talking. Era, the station's psychologist, kept her thoughts to herself. Her job was to monitor the others, not to confess her own unease. The first incident. It happened during the night cycle, when the station dimmed its lights to a soft blue and the corridors emptied. Era was reviewing sleep cycle data in the medbay when the lights flickered. Just once. A brief stutter, like a blink. Then the temperature dropped. Her breath fogged. The hum of the life support fan slowed, deepened, became almost rhythmic. A shape moved past the medbay window. She froze. The corridor outside was empty. She knew it was empty. She had watched each crew member retire to their quarters. She had locked the medbay door behind her. But she had seen something. A silhouette, tall, wrongly proportioned, moving with a slow, deliberate gait. She waited, pulse hammering, until the lights steadied and the temperature returned to normal. She told herself it was fatigue, stress, a trick of peripheral vision. But she logged the incident anyway, privately. Rourke's eyes. Commander Rourke cornered her in the mess hall 2 days later. "You're not sleeping," he said. Not a question. Era forced a smile. "Neither are you." He didn't smile back. Rourke was a man carved from discipline, square jaw, clipped hair, posture so rigid it seemed painful. But his eyes betrayed him. They were bloodshot, ringed with exhaustion. "What's going on with the crew?" he asked quietly. "I've had 3 reports of disturbances." Era's stomach tightened. What kind of disturbances? Footsteps in empty corridors. Voices in the ventilation. Kessler swears he saw someone standing outside the observation deck at 0300. Someone? Rourke hesitated. "He said it looked like you." Era felt the air leave her lungs. "That's impossible," she said. "I know." Rourke rubbed his temples. "But the crew is on edge. I need your assessment." She nodded, professional mask slipping back into place. "I'll talk to them." But she already knew what she would find. Fear. Paranoia. The same creeping dread that had begun to coil around her own thoughts. Something was wrong with Erebus Station. And it was getting worse. The log that shouldn't exist. Sato found it first. A corrupted maintenance log buried in the station's archives. Timestamped 12 years before the station was built. Era joined the others in the engineering bay as Sato projected the file onto the wall. Static. Then a voice. A woman's voice. "This is Dr. Era Smith, recording log 714. The entity has breached containment. We are evacuating. If anyone finds this." The audio dissolved into a shriek of distortion. Era felt the room tilt. "That's not me," she said. But her voice sounded distant. Rourke stared at her. "It's your name. Your voice. It's a fabrication, she insisted. A glitch, deepfake audio, something. But the others were unconvinced. Kessler whispered, "What if it's a warning?" Era turned away, heart pounding. She had never been on Erebus Station before this mission. She had never recorded any logs here. And yet the voice was unmistakably hers. She didn't sleep that night. She didn't even try. The thing in the observation deck. On day 37, the storm clouds over Kepler-62f parted for the first time. The crew gathered at the observation deck, eager for a glimpse of the planet's surface. What they saw instead was the reflection, not their own. The glass showed 6 figures standing behind them, but only 5 crew members were present. The 6th reflection stood taller. Its limbs were too long, its head tilted at an unnatural angle. And its face was Era's. She stumbled back, choking on a scream. The reflection didn't move, didn't blink, didn't breathe. Then the lights flickered, and the reflection vanished. Rourke grabbed her shoulders. "Era, look at me. What the hell is happening?" She couldn't answer, because she finally understood the truth she had been avoiding. The station wasn't haunted. It was mimicking them, learning them, replacing them. The crew begins to fracture. Paranoia spread like infection. Kessler refused to sleep alone. Sato barricaded her door. Rourke carried a sidearm everywhere, even to the showers. Era tried to maintain order, but the crew no longer trusted her. Not after the log. Not after the reflection. They watched her with wary eyes, whispered when she entered a room, flinched when she spoke. She couldn't blame them. She didn't trust herself either. She had begun hearing footsteps behind her. Soft, measured, always stopping when she turned. She had begun catching glimpses of movement in reflective surfaces. She had begun dreaming of corridors that didn't exist. And worst of all, she had begun hearing her own voice whispering from the vents. The disappearance. Kessler vanished on day 40. One moment he was in the lab cataloging samples. The next, the room was empty. No signs of struggle. No alarms. No camera footage. Just gone. Rourke initiated a full station sweep. They found nothing. But Era found something else. A smear of condensation on the inside of a sealed airlock door. In the shape of a handprint. Her handprint. The descent. The station's systems began to fail. Lights flickered more frequently. Doors jammed. Gravity fluctuated. The hum of the life support fans grew deeper, slower, almost like breathing. Sato reported seeing someone crawling through the maintenance shafts. Someone with Era's face. Rourke ordered Era confined to quarters for her own safety. She didn't argue. She sat on her bunk, knees pulled to her chest, listening to the station breathe around her. Hours passed, or maybe minutes. Time had begun to unravel. Then she heard it. A soft knock on her door. "Era," her own voice whispered. "Let me in." She pressed her hands over her ears. The knocking grew louder, more insistent. "Era, you're tired. Let me take over." She screamed. The lights went out. The truth in the dark. When the emergency lights flickered on, Era was no longer alone. A figure stood in the corner of her quarters. Tall, wrongly proportioned, its limbs bent at impossible angles, its skin pale and translucent, stretched thin over shifting shadows. Its face, her face, smiled. "You're not real," Era whispered. The creature tilted its head. "Neither are you." It stepped closer, movements fluid and unnatural. "We are echoes," it said. "Reflections. The station remembers every crew that has ever passed through. Every fear, every thought, every face." Era backed against the wall. "Why me?" "Because you listen," the creature said. "Because you hear the quiet between stars." It reached out a hand, a perfect replica of her own. "Come back to us." Era closed her eyes and ran. The final confrontation. She fled through the corridors, alarms blaring, lights strobing. The station groaned around her, metal twisting like bone. Rourke and Sato found her near the central hub. "Era!" Rourke shouted. "What happened?" "It's here," she gasped. "It's been here all along. It's not a creature. It's the station. It's alive." Sato shook her head. "That's impossible." "Is it?" Era pointed to the walls. "Listen." They did. And they heard it. A heartbeat. Slow. Rhythmic. Pulsing through the metal. Rourke's face drained of color. "We need to evacuate." They sprinted toward the escape pods. But the station was awake now, and it didn't want them to leave. Doors slammed shut. Bulkheads sealed. The lights dimmed to a deep, suffocating red. A voice echoed through the corridors. Era's voice. "Stay." The choice. They reached the final airlock. Only one pod remained. Sato shoved Era toward it. "Go." "What about you?" "We'll override the lock," Rourke said. "You launch when it opens." Era hesitated. "I'm not leaving you." "You don't have a choice," Rourke said. "It wants you, not us." The station groaned, metal warping. The creature, her reflection, appeared at the far end of the corridor. It smiled. "Era," it whispered. "Come home." Rourke shoved her into the pod. The door sealed. Through the window, she saw the creature reach them, saw Rourke raise his weapon, saw the lights flicker, and then she launched. The quiet after. The pod drifted away from Erebus Station. The station loomed behind her, dark and silent, its lights extinguished. Dead. "We're sleeping." Era floated in the quiet, heart pounding, breath shallow. She was alone, utterly alone. She closed her eyes and heard a whisper from inside the pod. "Era." Her own voice. "Did you really think you left me behind?" The pod lights flickered. The temperature dropped, and in the reflection of the viewport, a second face appeared beside hers. Smiling.